Let me say what a great pleasure, privilege, and an honor it is for me to welcome each and every one of you this morning on behalf of myself, on behalf of my wife, on behalf of the Indian Embassy, to this event that we have organized on to have a discussion on the existing status of collaboration between India and Sweden in the area of education, and to look at, identify what are the prospects and potential as we go along in future. Before I say anything on this subject, of course, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to our delegation, which has come from India. There's another delegation that is coming from, but that is from Indian-Swedish. But this is the delegation, a 5-member delegation. They are here for actually less than 11 hours. They have just landed and they have come here to the residence. So a very warm welcome, although it doesn't seem to be all that warm outside. But it could have been much colder. It could have been much colder, but I'm sure you can feel the warmth at least within these premises here. So a very warm welcome to you, Dr. Chauhan, the chairperson of the Amity group of schools, and to the other members of the delegation who are here also with us. And I'm particularly delighted to have my friend and former colleague, Ambassador Aggarwal, also here with us. I must also extend a very warm welcome to Her Excellency Margareta Björk, the Mayor of the Stockholm City Council, who has always been a pillar of strong support in all our initiatives and all our activities to further strengthen a very dear friend from the Riksdag, from the Swedish Parliament. Again, we are privileged to welcome you here at the residence, at home several times, and I'm delighted to see you here once again. We have our friends from the Foreign Office, our partners, our collaborators from the Foreign Office, and I'm delighted to see that you are here, and of course also from the Ministry of Education and Research. But in addition to that, and I see representatives of several universities here, and representatives of several schools from Stockholm City Administration, etc. And of course, a large number of friends and well-wishers of India, and those who have been collaborating very extensively and very actively with us for further strengthening and diversifying collaboration and partnership between India and Sweden. As I said, the incentive for organizing this event today, and I hope that in the next hour and a half that we are going to be here and we are going to be discussing, that it will provide some leads and it will provide some new thoughts and ideas as to how to move forward. But I'm sure that everyone who is here knows and is quite familiar and aware of the very rapid and the dynamic pace in which relations between India and Sweden have been developing over the recent past. Just to give you a few examples, if exchange of visits at high levels is an indication of the seriousness with which both countries look at each other, then we have had over the last some months, we had the visit of our Speaker of Indian Parliament, Mrs. Meera Kumar, who came here, and she was here with 6 members of Parliament, both from the lower house and the upper house. We had the visit of our Minister of Power, Mr. Sushil Kumar Shinde, also he was here with a big delegation. Mr. Kapil Sibal, the Minister of IT and Telecom and Human Resource Development, was also here. And we have had Sam Petroda and so many other senior official and business delegations. In the other direction, we've had the visit of the Swedish Foreign Minister Carl Bildt to India, a very useful visit, a very productive visit, a very fruitful visit. We had the visit of Minister of Health and Social Affairs last month. Early this month, we had the visit of Secretary of State Frank Belfrage. And as I can see, as we move forward, it is the same pace and same tempo, momentum of bilateral visits that is going to continue. We have Mrs. Jyoti Natarajan, our Minister of Environment and Forest, who will be participating in the Stockholm Plus 40 conference in Stockholm in April. And there are many other visits planned both ways in the coming months. This is, of course, in the area of exchange of visits at the political level, but whether we are to look at cooperation in the area of business and investments, in the area of trade and economic cooperation, in the area of culture and tourism, I think it is the same story that can be repeated. To give you just a few instances, we had a very major acquisition by the Aditya Birla Group in Sweden, an investment of about 340 million US dollars, which is about 2.4 billion Swedish kroners, acquisition of a specialty paper and pulp mill, investment by the Crompton Reeves in acquisition of unit in Gothenburg, manufacturing electrical components, and several others. On the reverse direction, we have also in terms of, if I could mention, last year and year before that, Indian professionals were the second highest in terms of number of people who came to Sweden in terms of working in Swedish companies. In the reverse direction, we have had let us say ABB won its largest ever contract in India for about 900 million US dollars last year, this year, January this year. We have had, in terms of the business climate, what is the Swedish business and industry has said that their investments in India over 2012 and 2013 are going to be 3 times more than they have been over the last 2 years. They invested about 1 billion kroners over the last 2 years, and in the coming 2 years it's going to be about 3.5 billion kroners. The decision by the Indian government for 100% FDI in single brand retail, that has got many Swedish companies like IKEA, like H&M interested, and discussions are going on. Saab has set up a major technology center in India. Atlas Copco is developing a new compressor in India. Volvo Trucks are developing medium-sized truck engines in India. I could go on and on, but I hope you get the message that, that relations are strong, relations are robust, relations are dynamic. And of course, this is a huge window of opportunity that that lies in front of us, that I think both India and Sweden are looking at very seriously. Now, coming to the area of education, of course, there also...
Thank you for your invitation, Excellencies, dear friends from all over the world, I must say. The issue education is the most important thing for us as parents to give our children after love. First love and then a good education. When I started to go to school in the 50s, up in the north, I'm from a very small town called Örnsköldsvik. Have a very famous ice hockey team, Modo, still on the highest level. But at that time, we first learned about our own region. We had to learn all about the different villages, mountains, rivers, and then we had to learn all about Sweden, all about the Nordic countries. We even have to learn the national hymns of the Nordic countries. So now when the Finnish president will come to Stockholm, I can sing his national hymn. And then we learned about Europe, we learned about Africa, about Asia, about America. And we knew that the world was round. We didn't know it was global. Because when I grew up, we just had the radio. And we sat in front of the radio every Saturday evening, you know, listen to different kinds of music programs, the whole family. Or we played some sort of play. And, you know, we didn't have a TV at all. We didn't have an airport in Örnsköldsvik. We just had the train to go to Stockholm. And I went to Stockholm for the first time when I was 7 years old. So my world was very small. And sometimes you can see a famous artist coming to sing as Örta Kitty perhaps. And you could see a car with an A on, or an AB on, or an O on. Because at that time you could see where people came from on the cars. And if you saw an A, the people came from Stockholm, you know, very far away. Or if they came from O, they came from Gothenburg. So that's, at that time, was my global area. We also had, you know, what did we do in the evenings or after schools? We skated, or we had skiing, of course, and we played a lot of different cards, and we had a lot of fun. And I must say that my first meeting with the rest of the world was in 1957, when I went to an international scouting camp at the western side of Sweden, and I met scouts from all over the world. In the 60s we got the TV, very, very new, you know, and very important furniture, because in TV we could see different kinds of programs and we could meet the world outside Sweden. It was not until I came to upper secondary school I went to a language course in French for a month, and it was also a very new experience. But today, you know, why I'm telling you this is because I want to show how much has happened just, you can say, the last 50 years. And today, the children we have at school, they have not only a round world, they have a global world. And today they have their own computer, they have their iPad, they have their all kinds of modern technical equipment, and they can see the world wherever they are. And in that way, we do still a round world, but we have it very close to us. And I'm very glad that Stockholm has been a starter, maybe, I don't know, to have this kind of exchange with pupils and teachers. And last year, 35 pupils, I think, was to India and to China, and most of the schools, I think, have schools in India as a partner. And of course it would be lovely if we could increase such partnership, because I think it's very important for young people of today to see other worlds and also other cultures. And I will close my little speech by reading something I learned from the staff of the Education Department last week. It says, globalization is a process of change, making it possible for countries and societies the entire world over to be brought together in multilateral dependence. And I wish to see the Indian pupils coming to Sweden now in April to June to come to City Hall. Thank you very much.
For inviting our delegation, and to Madhuji, we are so thankful. Like Amity, no? Amity, we are from Amity International School, so we have got around 9 international schools in Amity surrounding around Delhi. So we are a national board. We have got a CBSE board, that is a state national board. We are focusing into that program, but we are coming into the national program also, like IGCSE and IB. Since 2 years we have started this program. And just like the Honorable Mayor said, now at our time, our childhood was different, now the children have become more global, they need more global exposure. So we are looking for the partnership. We have partnership with different schools. We have the partnership with many schools, like from Copenhagen, Germany, China, Japan. Children, they stay for a year in Japan and they come to our place. They live in a host family. The children, they come from Italy. Our children stay for a year and their children come to Amity and they live in a host family. So it's a wonderful exposure. When our child comes back, he's full of life, he knows the different world, what is happening in the different world. So like we are especially we want to have the partnership with the Swedish school. So because we are highly impressed with Sweden, because they are very innovative people into science, and Amity is also for science and mathematics. We focus a lot on science, mathematics, art, music. Actually, we focus on the child is good. We want to give the child a global exposure. So we are looking for the partnership. So like we have got, this is our school structure, and if you go further, we have got 5 universities. We have got Amity Global, we have got Amity Global World Universe, we say. We have got in all over India in different states. When we have moved further to Singapore, to California, to New York, England. Now we are coming to Dubai now. This year is the main focus, Sweden and Dubai. We are getting for higher education, for schools. So we want to do this. Then can I introduce my delegation? My delegation. Sir, can I introduce?
Yes, by all means, please.
Like this is Sapna, Chauhan, please can you stand? Sapna Chauhan. She is looking for the children who are 18 months. From 18 months to 4 years. This is her area, and that is called the Amiown area. We call it Amiown. It is Amity's own. And then Mrs. Hart, she was the founder principal of one of the biggest, largest school in India. Around 6,655 children, they are enrolled in this school. Now she is the senior consultant of the school. So, Jyoti. Jyoti, she is we have got an Amity Resource Center. From this center, we float many programs, worldwide, nation and the worldwide, for exchange program, for partnership. She is heading this program. So Mr. Aggarwal has been introduced. He is in Amity. He is an ex-ambassador. So he is also looking for the partnership program. Aggarwal, can you tell something about what you are doing? Okay. Yes. Can you?
Yes, sir.
Without your permission, I cannot.
Thank you, madam. First of all, thanks a lot to Indian Ambassador, His Excellency Ashok Sajjanhar, the Mayor, Her Excellency the Mayor of Stockholm, Madam Amita Chauhan. I'm very happy to be here in my old regime, but now in a different capacity. Now I work with Amity Group after retirement. And she has just mentioned how Amity Group, the schools, international schools and the university have become internationally interconnected. We are increasingly going for partnerships both at university level as well as at school levels increasingly. So in this regard, she represents the international schools, and we will very much like to have with Swedish schools, and likewise as she mentioned about the partnership and so on. And we have offshore campuses of the Amity group. We have in London, we have in USA, in Singapore, in Mauritius. Latest was Romania and Dubai. And now we are also working elsewhere, separate countries. So with this, the brief remarks, thank you so much, Madam, and thanks, Ambassador. Thank you so much for the honor and regard given to us, to our delegation, and we'll certainly make use of this opportunity. Thank you.
So in Amity we say, if the child comes, is 18 months old, till 24 years, that the child can stay in Amity. And Amity is like from the grandchild to the grandfather. They are the part of Amity. So sir, I can say thank you very much for inviting us. It's a pleasure to see so many people here. And I think so we hope that we can do some partnership together. Thank you so much.
It's shorter, I think. Thank you very much. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you for this opportunity to come here and speak about Swedish higher education. I'll give a very short introduction to our university sector and give a few words about what issues are current here today. Compared to India, we have a very small university sector. We have 34 public universities and higher education institutions, 3 larger private ones and about 15 smaller ones. We have actually seen a quite large expansion of higher education during the last 20 years, where it's a double of the number of students. We have about 360,000 students now and 17,000 PhD students. The main priorities we see a new higher education landscape growing against the backdrop of globalization, more competition for students, for researchers, for research funding, and we believe that the Swedish higher education institutions must be ready for this change in the ways that it's possible. And the #1 priority is good quality, of course. We have introduced a new quality assurance system, which we believe will make sure that education we give is of good standard. We have very recently, as yesterday, presented a bill to Parliament on a new structure for the Quality Assurance Agency, among other agencies. And the government is also putting more funding into the education when it comes to political science, for example. Another important aspect is greater autonomy to the higher education institutions. Traditionally, the universities have had academic freedom and a certain independence from the state, but we believe that in order to fulfill their fundamental task as higher education institutions, there needs to be a very independent and critical reflection on the development of society. And we believe that having greater autonomy, the institutions will be able to adapt to new situations faster and benefit of their potentials. Efficiency is another key word right now. We see that there's restrictions on higher education is no longer a sector which is growing, which has been for a long time, and we believe that there needs to be a closer review on how the funds are spent in order to use the funds that we do have in the best possible way. And when we talk about funds, important issue has been the introduction of tuition fees last fall. This is something that the government saw as necessary with a very large growth of students coming into Sweden in such a speed it's not possible to be able to fund it in that way. And also believe that higher education institutions should in this global sector compete not because the education is free in Sweden, but because the quality is good in Sweden. The unfortunate effect, of course, has been that there's been a decrease of international students coming into Sweden. We're trying to compensate that with grants, and we hope that the amount of grants will increase to compensate for this. And that comes to this issue of international cooperation, which is a crucial part of the lives of higher education institutions. And as Mr. Ambassador stated, there's already a lot of cooperation going on between universities in Sweden and with Indian counterparts, both in education and in research, which we are very happy about. And I'm also very happy for this occasion to enhance the cooperation on all levels of education. I think this development is not only welcome but necessary for our society. Thank you very much.
A very special session, and Mr. Ambassador, and also for meeting you from Amita. My name is Gunilla Söderström, and I'm a former principal, and today I'm responsible for research about leadership and organization in the educational system in the education administration in Stockholm. And I'm one of the founders of a program we call Global Citizen Program. And my colleague?
Yeah, I'm Lennart Fogelstrand, and I'm also a former principal here in Stockholm. And right now I'm work at education administration as a strategist. It means that I want to expand the contacts between our upper secondary schools and with companies and universities and the surrounding world.
Okay. And we can show you more about this, but as you see, we work with universities, schools, enterprises, and we work with China and India, and we have built China and Sweden and India and Sweden together.
And the background is that we talked about rapid development in the world in 2006. And then it was very easy for us to take the decision to look forward to start cooperation with Asia and of course India. And this program, it aims to give both principals, teachers and students more knowledge about globalizations and the possibilities and responsibilities. And we can not do this alone, so we have a close cooperation today with Swedish companies and universities, both here in Stockholm and Sweden, but of course also in India.
Yes, and what are we doing there? We are learning about India with seminars, and Mr. Ambassador has visited us twice. Oh, yes? At least. And we're learning about India, but we're also learning about India and Swedish cooperation in culture, knowledge, research, and so on. And we have a principal here, Karin Henriksson, from IB South. Can you tell us something concrete? What are we really doing?
Mr. Ambassador, dear friends of education, I'm Karin Henriksson Ahlberg and I'm the head of school, IB School South, Stockholm. And we have been taking part in this Global Citizen program since the very beginning. And we have one partner school in China and one in India. And this year, 6 of our students went to Navrashna International School in Gujarat in India and stayed for 10 days with the school, with the families, and also taking part in the daily work of the school. And both IB School South and Navrashana International Schools offers the IB program, which is International Baccalaureate, international program. You can find it all around the world. And that makes also cooperation very easy because we have the same curriculum. So we can read the same books, work on the same science tasks, reading about also the same periods in, for instance, history. So it's very fruitful cooperation. And when we were in Gujarat, we also visited Asea Bramboveri, a Swedish company, because most of our students go abroad for studies, for further studies. They go abroad for universities in China, in India, also of course in the UK, the States, and Canada is becoming very popular. And also we have a cooperation with the university in Gujarat. It's Mr. Push Padam.
Dr. Push, yeah.
Yes, Dr. Push. We can't really pronounce his whole name, so we call him Dr. Push.
27.
And he is right now working on a project with the primary years program in India, a program within the IB. And in that way we can see our cooperation extending, because this autumn IB School South will extend to also offer also the primary years program and the middle years program. And that means we will have IB students from year 5 up to 19 years. So what we hope for is a further cooperation with Navrashana International School, and maybe also teacher exchanges. And students from Navrashana will visit Stockholm and IB School South in September. So that's what we're really looking forward to. Thank you.
Today we have 10 upper secondary schools involved in this project and this program. And I see we have one more principal here too, and we have had this year 60 students visiting China and India. And 9 of the 10 schools have cooperations today with schools in different cities in India.
Yes, and as we started, we are very happy and honoured to be here, and of course we would like to have more cooperation with India, both schools and universities. So thank you.
I'm very pleased to be here today and to listen to all these interesting discussions on cooperation between Sweden and India in education. We live in a fast-changing world, as some of you have mentioned already. And how well are our educational systems and schools adapted to that? How well are they suited to prepare students to live and work in the world of tomorrow? That was the basis for the start of Kunskapsskolan in Sweden in 1999. We found that schools in general were very traditional and had not changed really that much during the past century. We wanted to create a modern school to give the students the tools, the competences, the skills to live and work in the world of tomorrow. All people are equal, but they're also different. We all learn in different ways, at different paces. And we wanted to create a school that was personalized, that instead of taking the class of maybe 30 students as a starting point, we wanted to start with each individual. We created an educational concept that we call the KED program. And we have for more than 10 years been operating schools in Sweden, independent schools, according to this educational program. And we can see that we deliver high quality education. Our average merit rating is high above the national average. And we have very satisfied students, teachers and parents. Today we operate 33 schools. They're secondary and upper secondary schools in the diverse areas in Sweden. And this was all made possible by the voucher system that we have here in Sweden. I don't know if you're familiar with from India, but we have a system where we allow private operators to operate state-funded schools. So we have a choice for all students really in Sweden, and really no private fee charging schools at all. The KED program has attracted lots of international interest, and I think this is also a sign that the world is shrinking, and education is no longer a national issue, but we need to have a much broader perspective on this. And I think also with the success and the quality we've been showing within Kunskapsskolan, that was one of the reasons that we were invited by the British government a few years ago to take over 3 state-funded schools in the UK. So for 2 years we've been operating 3 schools in the UK, 2 in Richmond and 1 in Ipswich, and then adapted the KED program to the English curriculum, the GCSE exams. Following that, we were also encouraged to start in the US. So in September we started our first charter school in Manhattan, adapting the KED program to the New York standards, also moving into the Common Core system as all states are. It's becoming more of a national curriculum also in the US. I think the most exciting journey for us has just begun. India is an exciting opportunity, and that's why we're all here today. We've been for some time discussing cooperation with an Indian partner, and we have now signed all the agreements, and if everything works as planned, we will be starting our first school in Gurgaon, outside of Delhi, in April next year. And as we speak, we have our first team in place. They've been here in Sweden now, our curriculum writers, that will produce the Indian version of the KED program. And it's, I must say, personally, my favorite project in this, because the competence, the persons that we've found to cooperate with in India is just astonishing. And I think with this network that we're building and creating cooperation between teachers and between students, the Indian part in this will be vital, really, to deliver quality for all our different stakeholders. So, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here today. I look forward to speaking further to you all afterwards. Thank you.
Media rights, of course. I will sort of focus myself basically on what we have been seeing here. And I can tell you with happiness and delight that I do recall that when we had arrived here about, let's say, a little more than 18 months ago, and I can say, of course, that has been the trend for the last several years, in fact, that basic focus on India was whether there was any famines or disaster. It was seen as a land of disease and malnutrition and other tragedies. But I'm sure my Swedish friends who are here will agree with me when I say that over the last 6 months, 8 months, all the major newspapers that have been reporting, whether it is Svenska Dagbladet or Dagens Nyheter or any of the others, I think the only stories that I see are focused on the, as you put it, the peaceful rise, but the promise and the potential of India. And it's not only as far as IT is concerned. I would like to emphasize that also, because I think the growth of India has gone much beyond IT. And whether it is in the area of research, whether it is in the area of biotechnology, there are Indian entrepreneurs, there are Indian professionals who have come here, they are interviewed, and you know, the story that comes out is that India is a country which is vibrant, which is dynamic, which is a peaceful influence and is a contributor of growth and prosperity, not only in its own region, but in the world, and also for bilateral relations. So I think in that sense there has been that growing interest. The second part of your question, I think definitely India needs to do much more here in Sweden, and this meeting is, you know, and like many other meetings that we organize here, is an effort in that direction, that people should get informed about what the India of today is. We have interacted, and I think the views of India many a times are still the very stereotyped, what I spoke about, which might have been, whether, you know, it is the caste system or what was prevailing in the 80s or the 90s. But I think the new India, there is, whether it is meetings like this, it is interactions like this. We try to reach out to our publications. We have a monthly publication coming out in 1 or 2 months, which I think most of the people here are receiving. That is our attempt to reach out. We have our website, we have a page on the Facebook, which are again very, very popular. And these are all attempts to inform people what India of today represents. And I would dare say that, this is what I've been telling my Swedish interlocutors also, that Sweden also needs to work equally, if not even harder, in India to let itself be known what it is. After all, you know, India, Sweden is #1 as a brand image and in terms of use of IT and as a green city and so on and so forth. But I think in this world where knowledge and information is being generated at such a rapid pace, I think Sweden also really needs to go out, and I know that the Swedish embassy in New Delhi and the Foreign Office is working very hard, and we together are working very hard. But again, in all these areas, you achieve successes, but still there is so much more to do. So I think we will continue to do here, and I'm sure we'll continue to work with our friends and collaborators and interlocutors in the Foreign Office and in the government to take this partnership to an even higher level. Thank you.
Which is in the poverty zone, but the government is doing a lot for education, taking it to the villages, taking it to the smaller towns, making sure that the girl child who was earlier neglected is now in the purview of education. So a lot of effort is being made. And no, don't get mistaken that we are a delegation of 4 ladies here, but the boys do receive the same education as the girls. So in India, it's just that the girls are now stepping out of the houses, especially I'm talking about the rural area. The urban area, there was never a problem. The girls and the boys always received the same education. But in the rural areas now, more and more awareness is coming into these areas, and both the education is now for both the boys and the girls. It's equal.
Thank you.
Does that answer?
The girl is the backbone of the society.
Yes, as our chairperson says, that she always believes, and therefore we have this little school called Amita. I call it little because compared to 80,000 students with Amity, we have 1,000 Amitasha girls who are the underprivileged girls. And she feels that you educate a girl, you educate a family.
Yes. With a nation.
So, and that educates a nation.
Yes.
In turn. So,
everybody agrees, though?
Thank you.
Do I have one more question?
Yes. So, Ms.
I believe perhaps the question could be elaborated a little bit more. About the teachers.
Yeah.
I think the question was Are the teachers more women or men?
Especially in Amity, because I'm the chairperson of Amity schools, no? So I'm a woman, I'm a lady. So in general, in primary classes, there is a lady teacher. But when the child goes to 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th, so we have got the male teachers and the female teachers. But like we think primary is for the woman and she can take care of the younger child. Right? So that's why we have more lady teachers in primary sections.
Thank you.
Thank you for an interesting discussion. This will be possible to continue later on. And now I'd like to invite Colonel Rajiv Edwards to say a few words on the upcoming events.
Thank you. I'm a little worried. I thought you were going to tell me to talk about education. Okay, sir. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here before you to announce two events, important events, which are programmed for April. The first is the International Bazaar, which is being organized by the Diplomatic Women's Club under the aegis of the President of the Diplomatic Women's Club, Mrs. Ashok Sajjanhar. This event is scheduled for 22nd April at Elite Palace Hotel, starting from 1100 hours until 1700 hours. 35 embassies are taking part in this event, and they will set up their own stalls where they will have their handicrafts, their trinkets, food, and various other things. An important feature of this event is that during the entire day there will be a continuous cultural program representing different countries. The entry ticket costs SEK 50, and which also doubles up as a lottery ticket with extremely attractive prices. I can assure you that. I know a little bit secret from that. And also let me say that the proceeds from this bazaar are for a very noble cause for the children, and they will be given to the NGO called Save the Children. The tickets are available with Zivile, and you can also get them from the embassy if you would like to buy them. The second and important event, of which I am indeed a part and parcel under the guidance of the ambassador, is the Bollywood dance and music troupe, which the ambassador is bringing to, as promised last time, he's bringing to Stockholm on 27th of April at Sodra Theatre, starting at 7 p.m. in the evening. It's an internationally renowned group called Matrix, and I can assure you it is really international. It has performed on a large number of places last year, including Russia and Finland and Lebanon. And the tickets, of course, go on sale starting next week, and they are available at Sodra Theatre online and in the beat box, as well as they are available in the embassy. And if I can share past experience with you, you need to buy the tickets fast, otherwise you will be disappointed. Thank you very much.
I would like now to invite Ambassador Sajjanhar for some closing remarks.
Thank you very much. First of all, let me say once again reiterate what a great pleasure it has been to have all of you and have such a very in-depth and enriching discussion. Possibly, one of the two questions that Mr. Scarlett had raised, and let me try to respond to that. I think maybe since you were at a little distance, what your question also was, if I understood it correctly, that we've been talking more about institutions. We have not been talking about the personalities involved. And what is it about the teachers and what is it about the students? I think about the students, mention was made even earlier, whether it is, even from the economically weaker sections of society, etc., etc. But as far as teachers are concerned, I think they are the pivot, they are the fulcrum on which the whole education system stands and operates. And when I speak about that, you know, again, Mrs. Margareta Björk was referring to her school days. And now I go back to my school days, and there is a very beautiful saying that we learned when we were in school. You know, Kabir was a Sufi saint, and one of his sayings is, you know, and I will translate it into English, and he's wondering to himself that if a teacher and a God stand in front of me, who should I do obeisance to first? Who should I bow to first? And his answer to himself is, I should pay obeisance to the teacher, because he's the one or she's the one who has shown me the direction to achieve God. So I think this is this will give you the essence and significance of teacher in Indian thinking, in Indian philosophy. And as was mentioned, of course, that as far as the government initiatives are concerned, education has been made free for all. It's been made a justiciable right. It's been made a constitutional right as of last year. So from beginning to 15 years, that is in the primary and the secondary, education has become a right for all students, for all children. So this is also again another initiative that has been taken. I think it's been such a great delight, and I'm sure there is going to be more time available to each and every one of us, our Swedish partners and collaborators, and of course the delegation from India that has come. And of course we in the embassy would be very happy to put this partnership together and make it stronger and make it more vibrant and more robust and more dynamic. Meaning, of course, it has been said that India is a young country. India is a country which has the great demographic advantage, demographic dividend. And as it is said, demography is destiny. And we have today more than 50% of our population less than 24 years. That means about 600 million people. So, you know, that's a great challenge. It's a great challenge, but in that challenge lies an opportunity. And that opportunity we are going to realize with the help and assistance and guidance and support of the schools and educators and teachers. Thank you very much once again for being here. And it is also my great pleasure now to welcome you to some Indian buffet lunch. Enjoy that also, and please continue the conversation, and you're most welcome to be here for as long as it takes. Thank you.
The chairs. Yes.